What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Sunday here. It's going to be a pretty exciting day coming up because we're going to have the Monday morning opening candle for crypto in Pacific Standard Time, 5 o'clock. It's going to be pretty exciting in the Sunday afternoons. Stock market opens early afternoon. That's going to be the ES1 exclamation mark, S&P 500 mini futures. That could usually be a front-running signal for Bitcoin, for the rest of the crypto markets. So something to be paying attention to. Now, if you guys are new here, you guys should know that I dive deep into the charts every day for Bitcoin, for altcoins. We're going to be talking about altcoins here later in this video, so make sure to be staying around for that. We're going to be talking about Filecoin. We're going to be talking about ICP. We're going to be talking about IMX, finding setups before they actually move. Make sure to be staying to the end of this video. And of course, like I said, in this channel, I dive deep into the charts every day to find charts moves before they actually happen, because let's face it, that's going to be a lot less riskier than chasing pumping green candles, okay? I've done that many times. Very stressful. A lot of times, I'm taking losses, okay? Learn from that, and then we're going to be finding moves that are a lot less risky. Now, if you guys do have any technical analysis requests, make sure to drop a like, comment what you want to see. Any markets, I would do one technical analysis request every video. I would choose one from you guys and do it on a video. So make sure to drop a comment, like, and subscribe, of course. And let's go ahead and dive into the charts here and see what we're dealing with Bitcoin. Could we be seeing a major bounce here? And why would I be saying that? Okay, hourly time frame. Since the start of this weekend, we have been on a downtrend. Okay, I've talked about a possible bounce here yesterday. However, that did get invalidated. Okay, sometimes you could see the price action break out of a pattern, but still get invalidated. That is just the name of the game. Nothing in this market is 100%. Okay, you can see breakouts and then it just rolls over afterwards. Okay, it is not guaranteed that it's gonna go to its target. Okay, that is just something to be aware of and to risk manage and potentially take profits off the table in case something like that happens. Now, let's take a look into the hourly time frame. Coming back here, okay, quite a bit of reversal signal, right? We have quite a bit of we have divergence on the RSI, which is basically a very important indicator, simple and effective, that I have been using for the past couple of years to make profitable trades. Okay, one of the few indicators. Okay, I'm gonna be naming the indicators here, right? You guys can see my chart is pretty clean. Okay, RSI is definitely one of them. The relative strength index, pretty easy to read once you get accommodated to it. Okay, it's gonna tell you quite a bit about what the market is doing. Strength of a bounce, reversal indicators, signals. It's all on the RSI. Next, of course, the moving averages. We are on a pretty big short-term moving average, which is the hourly 200 SMA, the orange line here, okay? And couple that with, some quite a bit of divergence on the RSI. So that tells me there is still a good chance that's going to bring a bounce. Now, the strength of that bounce is yet to be seen, or I can't really say too much about that because that's not what the RSI tells me. It tells me that there's going to be a bounce. There's going to be a bounce, but not the size of the bounce. Okay, that is when we actually come and chart the pattern. And let's see if we can actually get any kind of hint on what the strength of that bounce is. So we have a bigger falling wedge now. Okay, this is going to be a very common pattern. So this is basically the third indicator that I usually use. We have the RSI, we have moving averages, and then I continuously refresh the charts by charting what's on the patterns here, right? That's going to be probably a little more advanced than just looking at RSI and moving averages, because it does require you to put in some active work and charting the patterns. And when you first start charting the patterns, I'm just speaking from my own experience, it's going to be kind of confusing. But the fundamental of actually charting a pattern is you validate a trend line by getting 3 candle touches on the time frame. Okay, like we do here, we have at least 3 candle touches on a trend line that validates the trend line, and you know, actually chart the pattern. Okay, there's some common patterns you guys should go and research, right? Falling wedge is one of them that's very common, right? And this usually breaks to the upside. Okay, if this actually does, the price target is here, which you take the opening of the pattern and then you put it on top of a estimated breakout points. Okay, that will give us about 96.5. Okay, which is basically the previous short-term resistance here, and that is still a pretty decent move for a smaller time frame. Let's take a look and zoom out. Still very important to be paying attention to Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin dumps altcoin setups, it does not matter. Okay, Bitcoin drives this entire market, so very important to be paying attention to Bitcoin and keeping the Bitcoin charts in the back of your head. Weekly time frame. This is going to be a very important time frame to be keeping an eye out on, because this weekly candle actually closes in about 8 hours. And from what I'm seeing right now, that is not a solid candle close on the weekly time frame from this candle right here. Okay, that means this weekly 21 SMA could still potentially be resistance if we don't get a solid candle close above that and actually officially reclaim that level. So that's basically what I'm seeing on this weekly time frame. 3-day time frame, double bottom pattern. We've talked about this for the past couple of weeks. Still in play. Price target 104K. Price targets are estimates only. It could be more or less. All right, on the 3-day time frame here, not really a solid candle there, I would still say. Okay, so this 2 moving averages, that could still be acting as resistance because we're not getting solid candle closes above them. So they could still be resistance, okay? That's on the 3-day time frame, 3-day 50 SMA, weekly time frame, 21 SMA. Daily time frame, still very important because we're very well above the daily 200 SMA. I don't exactly see weakness on this daily move here because we have a higher high on the price action chart, and to me that is still a noticeably higher high on the RSI. It is coming down to this level at about 95K. Okay, that was the previous resistance, as you guys can see here. Quite a bit of struggle here, right, on the daily time frame, and could be retesting that level at about 95K. Now that also gives me some signal that this could be a bounce as well, tying it back to the hourly time frame I just pointed out with the RSI and the bullish divergence on there. Let's take a look into the stock markets. S&P 500. All right, so price target out of this falling wedge, ES1 exclamation mark is the symbol, which is the S&P 500 mini futures. Falling wedge pattern, price target about 5,800, still going. It's going to hit the daily 200 SMA, which is a major moving average, coming up at about 5,800, okay? Something to be looking out for because that is resistance. So there could be some turbulence coming up. We also have the Fed meeting next week. Next week, Wednesday. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's going to be pretty important too. Especially if I'm speaking from personal experience, especially if I have leverage positions, which I do. I've seen some pretty crazy wicks that could happen. So I am definitely gonna margin up my leverage positions so I don't get a quick wick down some of my altcoin positions and get liquidated, because that has happened. Let's take a look into altcoins. Okay, total 3. This is the total altcoin chart excluding Ethereum. Okay, falling wedge pattern noticeably on the daily time frame, broke out of its price target for this total altcoin market cap excluding Ethereum is going to be just right underneath 1.1 trillion, which could still do some pretty significant pumps for some of these smaller altcoins I'm sure you guys have seen for the past couple of days. All right, so this is the next chart I usually keep in mind of after Bitcoin. Let's go to some altcoin setups. Filecoin first. On this Filecoin setup, let's come to the monthly time frame. I'm sure we're still looking good because we're not in high risk overbought area just because we've been in a downtrend for the past couple of months. Okay, we actually have some bullish divergence on this monthly time frame as well. Okay, we're comparing lower lows on the price action chart, but that is, to me, still bullish divergence. Okay, this RSI reading has basically flatlined, right? It is a slightly lower low on the RSI, but that is still bullish divergence in my books. That is just my opinion, not financial advice. Weekly time frame. We got a falling wedge pattern. Very common theme here after a downtrend. Price targets out of this pattern. Let's take an estimated breakout point. It's going to be about $15. Okay, these are weekly candles, so it could take some time to get there if it was to. Daily time frame. What could Filecoin be doing on the daily time frame? Okay, it just really bounced off the bottom trend line here, and it is working its way above some daily moving averages. It is actually retesting the 50-day moving average a second time here. Okay, so this is what I would actually a third time. Once here, and the third time here. So this is what I would consider as soft resistance if I was considering taking the position out, right? Soft resistance meaning if the price action was to retest a certain resistance more than once, chances are it's going to actually break through it. Okay, at least with higher probability, right? The first time it's usually hard resistance because the first time it retested, it's the chances of breaking through it's less likely. You can retest that on your charts and verify what I'm saying on any market, especially this market. See what are the chances of price action breaking above a moving average or any resistance the first time I retest it. Okay, count back 10 times and see how many times it has actually broken above it on the first try. All right, this is Filecoin. So that is the weekly time frame chart. Okay, daily time frame charts. What could it be doing here? This looks like a small falling wedge pattern. Okay, Small falling wedge pattern. Price target out of this pattern, it's going to be about $3, just right underneath $3.20. Let's go to ICP. See what we could be dealing with here. Weekly time frame. Let's come to the monthly time frame real quick. I just want to see if we're getting I mean, we're not going to get an overbought reading here, but we're also getting a bullish divergence reading here, right? Bullish divergence on the monthly time frame. Weekly time frame. We have a falling wedge. Actually, 3-day time frame where I can actually get candles to touch here. 3 candles to touch. Measure move. If the price action was to break out at some point, estimate it here. This is the 3-day time frame. We do have, not exactly a 3 candle touch on the bottom trend line, but I think the second one here is close enough. It doesn't have to be super exact. And what I'm seeing here is a price target for about almost $25. ICP, Internet Explorer. Let's take a look at the daily time frame, see what could this price action be doing. All right, it bounced off the bottom trend line. Okay, it could be forming a smaller falling wedge on the on shorter time frame here. So very common pattern, but very powerful pattern. It's basically a falling wedge, right? All right, this could be it. And then price targets. Estimated breakout point, and then price target is going to be about just right above $5.50 there. If it breaks out by that point, something to be keeping in mind of on a shorter time frame. Let's go to IMX. See what's going on here. Monthly time frame. Not in overbought territory, so not high risk. Okay, monthly time frame. We are at a support level. Okay, as you guys can see, it's about 55 cents. Quite a bit of bounces and rejections throughout this monthly time frame here. If you guys are looking at these candles. Weekly time frame. Falling wedge. Again. Price targets. Opening of the pattern. Put that on top of an estimated breakout point. Of course, if it breaks out sooner, adjust the measurements. If it breaks out later, and if the pattern is still intact, of course the pattern could be broken. This is just a snapshot of what the chart looks like, in my opinion, of what it is based on what the chart looks like right now. Things can change. All right, if it breaks out by this point, measure move just right underneath $4. IMX. Smaller time frame, see what we could be doing here. All right, it just reclaimed the daily 50 and 21 SMA, okay? And this is the second time it has actually tried, okay? All right, so this basically wraps up my post for today. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, give me a comment, questions, technical analysis requests. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.